This is your daily market review for Wednesday, January 29th, 2025. Let's go. Hey everyone, this is my channel to help investors and traders develop a probability-based mindset to succeed. Also try and keep friends informed of what's going on in the markets and the economy, and also a little real estate content as well. This is Dan Max at eXp Realty, aka the Trading Agent, and this is your daily market review for Wednesday, January 29th, 2025. Hopefully you're having a great day. If you've been following the channel and paying attention to the Discord room and follow on Twitter and taking a little time to just poke your nose in to see what we're up to, you're feeling pretty good about what we've been predicting. Now again, no one is offering certainty, because if they are, you should certainly run away from their advice, because nobody can know anything for certain in a probability-based game. You can still be dealt pocket aces and lose. This is how trading works. So let's get into it. We got some earnings after hours. We got the Fed to talk about. We got what to expect the rest of the week. We got a lot of fun in games. Well, one of the things that we talked about last week is I expected at some point a big 20-point drop in the Qs. We got it. We got the Q drop. And then what happened? Well, not surprisingly, you get some chop into the FOMC meeting. Well, the FOMC meeting was definitely a nice pop. Again, retrace of the downside. And then today I said, I thought today would be a red day in the Qs. I thought it might be a big red day, but either way, I felt red. But now that I'm seeing what's going on after earnings, maybe I can pat myself on the back, maybe like golf clap. No, again, I expect more down, but again, this is what's hard about earnings, right? This is where it gets tricky, is that we don't, I mean, you can know the fucking number, excuse my language. You just don't know the reaction. That's why I always laugh at people. I'm like, I've had the numbers. I have known what's going to happen. I have seen what they're going to release. I have calculated out the earnings very easily as a finance math degree. But still, I didn't know what the reaction of the market would take. And that's where you got to be careful. So if you're new to the channel, check out the Discord room. If you're doing yourself a favor and involved, would like to get involved, want to chat, use the Calendly link, 30 minutes, you and I, let's talk, see what's going on. Oops, sorry about this. Yeah, follow on Twitter, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell on the YouTube. If you'd like to donate, hit the thanks button. Again, I always appreciate it. Or if you want to use the links in the description below and donate, big time. Again, the people who invest in me, in this channel, will get the investment back. I promise you that all the time. The people who have taken time to get involved, hit the like button, get involved, ask questions, get involved, take the moments to chat, donate. Again, it's not about like the donations, like I owe you something, but again, I just appreciate it. And think about it. Think about the energy if you're on the other side of this. Again, because I have a lot of people asking for help, but I'm only going to use my time with the people that I truly believe want help, need help, but also are willing to respect the fact that, yes, I'm a busy person. Just like if your job, you'll be busy. Can't expect someone just to come in there and take up all your time. Makes sense. Also, check out the website, tradingagent.com. Tons of great insights, market reviews, real estate stuff, all sorts of fun. We talked about the no cut. You got it. So now let's look at March. This is where it's going to start to get a little funky, right? Right now you're at the no. They're expecting something in the June. So again, between now, sorry, definitely expecting something in yeah. Okay, March, sorry. Yes, not as much. And as you get further in the summer, that's when you're expecting the next cut. When it'll all change. Just don't overthink it. Don't go crazy. So we know there's one rate cut expected, could be two. We'll see. Again, what do you think will determine that? Weakness in the market. Bitcoin bounced off the lows today, chopped around. Again, I hate to sound like a broken record. Install broken record program. Now, this has been a big chop move, and you need to break out to the top to go higher, break below to go lower. Until then, it is a big sideways choppy move. Be careful. Oil, talked about it bouncing here. In the 70s, no shiznaki. Duh, I mean, support equals resistance. Keep an eye on it. Natural gas. Talked about praying for pullbacks. Pray for rain. Pray for rain. We got some. There it is. Now, near term, I'm not sitting here going to assume that we can't just bounce some here. But I'd like to see natty gas commodities all get throttled like they typically do at the beginning of the cycle when you get the reversal. I mean, we saw this in 2000s. Tech dumped. Commodities stumped. And then it poured into it. Saw this in COVID stuff. Seen it mental times. Like, again, well, just keep it simple, stupid. Stick around the channel. You'll learn. You get what I mean. Daily. Let's go to them. Charts. Dollar. Bounce. Again, not much to say. Just watching. Again, I'd like to see bigger volatility to see more of what's going on. With meaning like, hey, if there's more volatility in the dollar, then there's going to be more dollar volatility. Sorry, that translates into market action. Blah, 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 blah. Choose your words wisely, Dan. We've talked about the TLT needs to get over the 88. Today would be a day that it could do it. Did not confirm it. Now, based on what I heard from the Feds, I mean, they're kind of stuck. They're saying they want the 2% sustainability target below for inflation. We're not there. We're in the 3. So I don't know how the fuck they can cut and try to get too overwhelmingly bearish or dovish or hawkish. To me, their tones seem kind of neutral. So I'm like, maybe now the TLT is waiting for the market to get slammer jammed. Keep an eye on it. VIX talked about this pulling back. Was like, no way we don't bounce a little bit. You got the bounce, close near the lows. Look where you're at. 50, 200 day. Keep an eye on it. VIX definitely weak. Right? We'd like to see this bottom first, but we did fill a gap. Again, not all gaps in these VIX products matters, but worth a watch. Spy guy, hey my guy, spy guy. A lot of earnings popping through as we go through this, and I'll try to pull some of them up. Talked about it, not surprised. We'll chop around. Tomorrow's action should be more of an indicator of what to expect going into Friday as well. Again, market got the oversold bounce. This is what scared me for bulls. That means that there's more downside. And the deep seek stuff is real. It's just a matter of how it affects the market in time. Because people don't realize, like, again, if they were expecting big returns on AI, and now it gets super competitive, just like commodities and chips when they overproduce anything. When you overproduce, oversupply, what happens? Pricing power comes down, margins squeeze, growth slows, and then everyone's freaking ripping each other off. Now we're seeing it. This feels like a little pivot point here. I'd be watching again. I don't think we'll follow through up unless someone earnings is crushing it after hours. But right now, I'm not seeing it. I've got it on another screen, just seeing who's popping through. IWM, we talked about this laggard. Man, held on to the 100-day. IWM should be leading up if you really trust the bull market in this, in my opinion. Keep an eye on it. DIA, 2-day range. No, not going to poop all over it. Gold. We've talked about this one basing at the highs. Today's action, Doji. However, got to give credit where credit is due. Silver acted a little better, but definitely hit the 100-day and kiboshed out in that. GDX, same thing. We'd like to see it break out. Keep these on your runway because these could break out. They could be doing the delayed breakout, right? Keep an eye on it. GDXJ, right? Keep an eye on it. You've got levels. You've got ranges. You get over them, they could start pumping more. AEM, because again, if money comes out of tech, I have a sneaky suspicion of where it's going to go. It's going to go into commodities, and it's going to gold. It's going to go into the miners at some point. This is what happened. I've seen this happen multiple times. Again, I don't need to go through it. It's like you have to go back and look at your old monthly charts. You'll see it. See it. AEM, the leader, up. AEG, thing's been dogging near the lows, but I mean, decent volume now. You notice how, again, look at the steepness of the volume down here. I'm not saying, but I am saying worth watching, right? Look at all this volume. Like compared to what we were doing, you're trading, was it 94 million? Now you're trading double on average volume a day. Who dat? Who down there making that happen? Not me. It ain't me buying that. I'm sorry. I can't afford those shares at that price. I mean, again, it's not an expensive stock, but someone's definitely pumping. Buy 1 million shares of that. Think about it, $5 million, right? Okay, well, now you're doubling that. You do the math every day. It's a lot of shares, a lot of money flowing. You get it. Newmont chopping around the range of lows. Keep an eye on this. PAAS had a nice little close, right? It's closing near the high. Cool. See what happens here. Let's get into semis and tech because this is where I think the value in shorting is going to be. If you want to do that, most people are like, I'm scared to short. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, I get it. Watch the range highs from 2005, 2007. Again, I think this thing is toast. I mean, that gap is pretty much game over. High vol after a huge epic move up. Now it needs to consolidate at worst, and at best, for bears, I think this thing gets pounded. And again, it won't be in a straight line. So I'd be watching the 20-day, 205, 207, 209, somewhere in that range. Micron, speaking of already pounded bear. Hey, bear. Back here, the lows again. Why are semiconductors lagging? Because someone knows, right? The volume in the Momo is not there. AMD, same kind of thing. Looks like shiznit. NVIDIA, short of 2025. Keep telling you guys, if you shorted the first time where the first arrow is at the trend line, you nailed it. If you shorted it on the pop, you nailed it. And now you shorted it up near the range highs. You're killing it. You see, this is what kind of looks like a downtrend. Lower lows, lower highs. Now we're at the 200-day. We've kind of oversold. Maybe near term. Let it work its way. off. Okay, do me a favor. Don't get nutty. Be patient. Wait for things to happen. Come to spots. SMCI, right? Here we go. Chopping around. Again, I don't trust this stock. I mean, again, it once was a pumper. I mean, I need to see their numbers. I need to make sure. I don't know how to validate and verify all of that data. So I'm going to leave it the fuck alone. Intel, again, I think if this gets bought out, it's a charity buyout around 19 or 20. And it could go right back to 18. And if nobody wants to buy it, then it could get throttled. Be careful. AVGO, right? This one looked like it was going to break out, broke the wedge, gapped right down, now holding at the 50-day. 10 cuidado, meaning be careful. So I'm just looking at Whirlpool's numbers. Guided downside revenue down 20% here. Wow. Yikes. Guiding down and down 20%. Obviously, Tesla definitely looks like revenues rose 2% year over year, trading at multiples. Oh, God, these companies are a little bit overvalued. Microsoft coming in, revenue looks like in line. Again, we'll see where they're at when we hit them here in 2 seconds. Sorry, I'm just like jumping the gun, like, tell me. SMH, talked about this one. Once you broke the 200-day, you got a multi-day range. Now look at this. Looks like the 200-day is pretty much your launch point if you're a bull. Be careful. If it breaks over, it has to sustain over it. ADBE, holding up, watching the 20-day. Seems, again, it's over. You go from oversold, now it's trying to reload. Either 20, watch the 20-day. 20-day breaks, look out. And if it starts curling up and it holds, could be supportive. We'll see. Applesauce, again, in my mind, 50-day said, watch it. And this is a nice pump, right? 220 to 240. That's a really solid pump for this stock. Now what? I would suspect that it's going to probably base out, and it could get, if the market pulls back, this is what I was watching today. I'm like, I will trust the market pullback if Apple starts melting. Amazon seems to be holding up near the highs. After hours down a little bit, maybe on Microsoft's and stuff. Meta, again, don't step in front of this. Do yourself a favor. However, if you do want to short, could be you could be stepping in it. You now have a range to reference against. Now, I know they have one of their earnings coming up. I can't remember, but verify that before you do any trades. Because, again, you might get lucky, and the easiest trade is to wait till after. CRM, look at that. Bounces, hits resistance, doink. Worth watching. Guggenheim, right, seems to be holding up. They have the Quantum 2 chips. Who's making Quantum 3? Is that 3D, 4D? Or I don't know. Whatever. Keep an eye on it. Microsoft, after hours is down at 433. It dropped to 418. Again, I mean, you can see after hours action. I'm not going to go too crazy, but if it's bullish, we need to get over 450s, and we could chop around. Again, their numbers, I don't know if they were really good or bad. NDAQ, look at it. Man, wild candle today. Earnings numbers were absolute, like, disappointing to me, and I'm not surprised the market disappointed, but then also, like, this is a trap back. This is why you say you don't chase, because imagine if you chased and shorted the open, and then you got rear-ended. Now you have references. This is where maybe you wait till tomorrow and you see what happens. MicroStrategy, Bitcoin's holding up, should bounce a little bit. Seems to be holding our friendly trend line. Again, reference it, use these levels, tell me what you think. If it holds it, you should be good. If it doesn't, I don't know why you wouldn't get back into the mid-twos somewhere. Netflix and chill, Netflix and spill, I don't know, but this is the thing. If you sold the calls like we talked about, if you watched the January 22nd call, we said very clearly the best trade would probably be to sell out of the money calls on Netflix because you're going to absolutely just collect premium. It's already made a huge move. The big gap up. You had the Ivy explosion. And guess what? Those calls that you would have sold out of the money, zika, cut in half, maybe 3/4, maybe worthless depending on which ones you got. Congrats. Roblox. Talked about this one holding up. Disappointed. I mean, not disappointed, like just disappointed miss that one. Pan W, thankfully pulling back a little bit. I like this big red bar. Me gusta mucho. I guess that was like in the Italian, Hispanic, or that was Italian with Spanish words. Keep an eye on it, right? Again, I like cybersecurity long term. Tesla, after hours, is at 384. Okay, not really down too much. I know it was down at 360s. 3-day range, didn't really close below it. Going into earnings, tough. We'll see what happens tomorrow again, because there is a pullback here at this point. And, I'm not going to sit here and say for sure I know anything until I see tomorrow morning. So this after hours action can be tricky. Personally, again, I think Tesla long term, I don't know shit about shit ultimately. That's what I can recognize. But I do know when you go from 140 up to 500, basically, you're going to go into the chop zone. you're going to have to digest this move. And if it digests well, great. And if it doesn't and you held on to this, you're going to feel like a dummy, a big dummy. Guess what? I've done that before. Not going to call other dummies when I've not been a dummy before. I know what it's like. Inside, I think they get bought out at some point looking for pullbacks. HIMS, this one's going on the short list because, again, I talked about this yesterday. I'd be watching 32, but I also know they have some ads they want to pump during the Super Bowl. Does it get the pop? We'll see. If it doesn't, then it sheds a lot too. Palantir, chopping around the range. GIFs, potentially. GIFs, worth watching, right? We get retests all the time. That's what's so hard when you get retests. People don't know what to do. They're like, oh, is the market retest? I'm like, dude, go look at the charts. Stocks love to retest. And then they're like, oh, no shit, you're right. But why do I not expect them? Why do I expect everything to be a V move, one direction? It's like, I don't know. You tell me, bro. McDonald's chopping around, held the 100-day. DKNG, again, it makes sense to short up here with tight stops. Congrats if you're shorted. The first trade was up here and then covered down here. Looking good. Airbnb, chopping around. Again, not really much to say. Again, it's just hard. Range lows, 125 up to 140. Costco, nice little bounce, right? Talked about his due, held the 100-day. Keep an eye on it. Starbucks. I mean, I thought their guidance was absolute dog crap, but again, it's almost like another cash in, throw the baby into the bathwater. Okay, they couldn't raise prices. Their earnings are down. It's like, whoa, hold on. But now people are still buying it. This is where I would be, in my mind, selling out of the money calls again on the IV, right? Maybe sell the 115s, 120s, and then you maybe use that cash. And if you were really want to go nuts, wait a day or two and maybe buy some out of the money or at the money puts on this thing. I don't think it's going to break out. I think I have zero pricing power. No one is committed to Starbucks coffee. I'm sorry. Their coffee sucks. Put a bunch of sugar and crap in it. And then they put all their hot stuff into plastic cups and you're just eating microplastics. Might as well can I get a splash of microplastics with my coffee, please? Yum, yum. Thank you. That's amazing. Without that coffee, cream, sugar, and microplastics, it's the perfect flavor. No wonder it tastes like shit. Excuse my language. FedEx, chopping around. Seems to have like a little bit of a range here. Keep an eye on it. Again, no personal trades on that one at the moment. Caterpillar, meow. Talked about it getting back up into the range highs, backing off with this gap down. Again, I personally think these names are going to be long-term leaders, but it's going to get wide and loose. Same thing. I think Deere, I'd be watching this. Again, I typically don't like shorting these things, but you get these moves, and then you get some tariff stuff, and you get some weird shit going on. I mean, could we see some pullbacks here? Ooh, bet your sweet butt. Keep an eye on it. Nucor, again, earnings were crap, jumped back. Again, basing, my opinion, long term, these are all good buys down at the lows. But again, do not expect for them to ultimately just go nuts right back. X, again, we talked about VALE. Huge volume. Huge, guys. This is your favorite president. Huge volume. Look at that, man. Again, at the bottom. You and I ain't messing with that. That's someone else. And so, again, they'll defend their positions at some point if needed, if it gets into the 8s. Arrow, Junior Copper, like it long term. Let's see what happens down here. CCJ, like it long term. Again, keep an eye on it. Not surprised it's bouncing here. Just looks like a head and shoulders top, y'all. Ten cuidado. CF. Nice little bounce back. Again, I like the ag names. We talk about how, again, you get in these straight line up patterns, you get some pullbacks along the way. This one's sloppy and choppy. Do yourself a favor. Be careful. Mosaic, again, I like these down near the lows. NTR, like them down near the lows. But again, I don't know if I want to take them and hold them and just blindly wish that they only go higher at this point. Because if volatility peaks up, these things can get slapped around too. AA Aeron, again, post earnings, drop down. Again, everything. Aluminum is one of my favorite sectors. Please pray that we get to the 2450 area. I would love to snack that. XLF seems to be holding up today. Another doji at the highs. Again, who owns all the problems? JP Morgan has some June puts on this thing in the red. Today's action gave me a little more confirmation after a nice up move, expansive to the upside, but the volume dying. And then today's action, doji. We'll see what happens. Morgan Stanley seems to be holding up pretty well. Doge. Bank of America seems to be lagging. Doge. Go Doge. Goldman Sachs, Doge. Seeing the pattern here. Carry, Doge. Keep an eye on this stuff. All it's a lot of them at references. XBI oversold, bounces, stuck at the 50-day. Benny and the Jets didn't get the bounce that I thought we'd get. Keep an eye on it, right? 20 days key here. I mean, bounce meaning like I thought if the market rallied yesterday, it would bounce more. It didn't get it. XHB, again, what is going on with the housing stocks, right? Somebody knows something. Dan knows something. If you want to buy a new build, take advantage of the builders. You just let me know. Anyway, solar, I got you. Chopping around. Again, solar's a tough one for me. It's like, man, you're playing in the pile of poo to try to find a diamond. I just rather not do it. First Solar, I mean, again, I think they are the long-term winner. But HYG, corporate debt again. Jay Solstice with the fire. Someone buying some long-dated puts on these makes sense. Big money. Oil, pull back today again. Feds would like to see this. They better get more of it. UNG, I hate this product. Hate this fucking product. Again, it decays, so I'd rather short decaying products like the KOLD. Not surprised we talked about the bounce near term. I mean, I'd love to see the 50s. I don't think we'll get back into the 80s, but your guess is as good as mine. Gifts from the gods. XOP, we talked about it pulling back. It's probably going to bounce here. We're in the part where you probably get the bounce. You got it. 2-day range. Watch what happens. 50 and the 100-day seems to be gripping this one tight. ExxonMobil, we talked about this like this long term, but I mean, it's got to play some games. Let it chop out. Do what it's got to do. CVE. Like to see the junior names catch a little bid. Got a little bid here near the range lows, but if you zoom out, they're big chop zones. We talked about the oil and gas name or the gasoline names. Got some bounces. Okay, they're just chopping around, and they typically lead. Let's see what happens here, right? Keep an eye on them. MPC, right? Typically lead. BP, are you with me? We talked about the break of the trend line, looking pretty solid near term. Digestion. I mean, and if the market pulls back, these will get pulled with them, but they won't. They ideally won't get slammed as hard. Occidental, same kind of thing. Buffett can't lose on this. I mean, I'd like this zone in the 48s if you really, really, really want to snack it. EQT, this thing was a buyout target. Congrats to the folks who identified this at lower prices. Didn't really see it coming, but that's the thing. I can't see everything. I only have 2 eyes. Appreciate your guys' influence and ideas. Keep an eye on it, right? Keep an eye on it. Last but not least, Flex LNG, because I think we will be natural gas exporters. So appreciate all the love, support, generous donations. If you have comments, hit me up. Leave a comment below. People on Twitter, if you want to comment. Again, I try to interact with the folks. I don't mean to pick fights with people about hymns or something. I truly don't believe certain stocks are going to do well. And if you don't like it, that's cool. We don't have to agree, but be careful out there, okay? Do yourself a huge favor. Let me know I can help too. Not here to argue, here to educate. Try to do my best to help. And if things don't work out, it's all good. Remember, don't marry your trades. Marry your risk profiles. Marry your discipline. Marry your stops. Marry the things that keep you from losing money, because you can mess around with wins and figure out how to make money. It's just the big losses that screw people. Talk to y'all later. Hey, thanks for watching. If you have any questions, stop by the Discord room. A link is in the description below. Also, if you'd like to help support more free content, the PayPal link is in the description as well. I appreciate your continued support of the channel.